It's pretty amazing how many different tools exist for sanding. I mean, technically you could get by with just a sheet of sandpaper and raw determination and an abrasive personality. But I think a lot of us prefer to minimize the amount of time we spend sanding stuff, so we buy power sanders. My number one recommendation is a random orbit sander. This one tool is probably enough to take care of maybe 90% of your sanding needs. I consider a random orbit sander an essential woodworking tool. But even sanding with a random orbit sander can be a time-consuming process, and there are profiles and areas you just simply can't sand with one, mostly on inside curves. One of my absolute favorite tools in my shop is my oscillating spindle sander, used specifically for sanding inside curves. A viewer of my show sent me this one years ago, and I can hardly imagine how I got along before having it. I don't use it a lot, but when I need it, I'm sure glad I have it. And the nice thing about spindle sanders is that they're pretty affordable. Of course, like any tool, if you really enjoy spending a lot of money, you can. This one is a Shop Fox and costs around $200. However, Win sells one for around $80, and after looking at the specs and the features, the two are basically identical. I know a number of people who own the Win sander and absolutely love it, and for 80 bucks you just can't go wrong. I'll include a link to that down in the description. A spindle sander comes with various diameter sanding sleeves that fit into the spindle. These discs drop into place to close the gap. I attach my shop vac to this dust port that works really well, extracting most of the sanding dust. All of the sanding sleeves and discs fit into the base for easy access. I keep mine in a drawer since this tool stand flips over for my disc sander. So you just change out the sanding drum depending on how tight the curve is that you need to sand. In a recent video, I mentioned that if you have a drill press, you could use it as a sander by attaching drum sanding bits. So if you have a drill press, why would you need a separate spindle sander? Well, the main reason is that this is an oscillating spindle sander. And that means that in addition to spinning, the sanding drums bob up and down. This prevents the sandpaper from overheating. A common problem when using a sander that just spins is getting burns on your workpiece. Plus, the grit gets worn off faster. There's just a lot of friction in one spot. An oscillating spindle sander uses more of the length of the drum. It spreads out the wear and tear, and it keeps the sandpaper and your workpiece cool. It's also possible to damage your drill if you press too hard against the sander. As for technique, take it easy when sanding. You might be surprised how aggressive it can be. Also, always use the largest diameter drum you can for the curve that you need to sand. Using a really skinny drum on a wide, gentle curve will not only take longer, but it's harder to keep the curve smooth and even. Also, always wear a dust mask no matter what you're sanding with, and have plenty of ventilation. Hey, if you've been thinking about setting up a workshop in a small space or even improving your existing workshop, now is a great time. I have a comprehensive online course called The Weekend Workshop that covers everything: how to plan and organize your space, how to install proper lighting, power considerations, workflow, and of course I'll show you how to build 14 shop projects. Everything you see in my shop, including this flip-top tool stand. And all of this is complete with hours of step-by-step videos and comprehensive building plans. Head over to theweekendworkshop.com and check it out. Thanks for watching.